What's up, y'all? So, today I want to do a video talking to you a little bit about my journey into the New International Version of the Bible. I figured it was something that I would like to talk about and something that I'd give you just 5 reasons that I've used it or that I do use it. And they're pretty basic reasons, but, anyways, it's become a great translation. So, stay with me and 5 reasons why I like the New International Version. All right, so the NIV, the New International Version, translation done by the CBT and Biblica and basically outsourced by Zondervan. They're the publisher. A translation that was put together and used and loved in 1984, and then had a different version, the TNIV, later on after that, and then recently was revised to the 2011 New International Version, NIV, the one that we all know, the one that when you go to the store and you buy the New International Version, it's the one you get. Man, I think the NIV is probably has the biggest love-hate relationship throughout the Bible world, and it's kind of a shame. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I do like the NIV, why I do use it, and to be honest with you, it has moved into a mainstay for me, and it's my main translation right now. It's not the only translation I use, but it is my main one. I grew up using the King James and New King James Version, and I still do use them quite often, all the time when I do my studies. So let me give you 5 just basic key reasons why I use the NIV. Reason number one, because of its readability. I am a youth pastor, okay? And when I teach teenagers, I don't want to stand up there and get tripped up on the translation. And the woodenness of the New American Standard and the ESV and sometimes the New King James and King James and the ones that are quote-unquote more literal, sometimes that just happens. They don't read as fluid or as that syntax that we use today in our English language, or however you pronounce that. See, I told you I'm just a country boy, so I need the easiest thing that there is. But no, honest to God, it is so readable compared to some of the quote-unquote more literal translations. The readability is just superb, and I like how it's readable, yet it still kind of maintains some of our basic biblical traditions, some of our basic biblical renderings. So that's the first reason. It's pretty simple. It's readable. The second reason is popularity. And I know that to many of you, you're like, wait a minute, you shouldn't use a translation just because it's popular. You should use a translation because it's good or because it's closer or whatever. Well, here's the deal. We have tons of English translations. Tons. And it seems like they're coming out with more all the time. It's actually a shame, to be honest with you. It's okay to have plenty of English translations, but at the end of the day, in my studying, they all pretty much say the same thing. And so the reason that I throw popularity into one of the reasons is because it is the number one translation in the world as far as units sold and stuff. So I like using it because other people are using it. A lot of the times when I see a teenager walking around with a Bible, most of the time, I would say probably 90% of the time, it's New Living Translation or New International Version. And I think that's great if they're carrying a Bible that they can read. So that's the second reason. It is the popularity of the NIV is just worldwide, it's global, and it's used. Okay? Number 3 is availability. The King James, the New King James, and the New International Version can still be found in some Walmarts, in some dollar stores, and a lot of your stores will still carry these three translations. And most of the time, it is them three translations that you'll find in them stores. So the availability of the New International Version is incredible. And not only that, but Zondervan produces many, many, many great resources that are always available in the New International Version. Number 4, the fourth reason that I like the New International Version is because of accuracy. It is very, very, very accurate. And sometimes understanding a translation is much, much better than just literalness. Many people, especially in the Bible world, in the Bible groups and things like that, they argue hard for literalness. Got to have literalness. Got to have literalness. Got to have literalness. And it is something that sticks with us and pounds at us, the NASB fans, the ESV fans. And here's the deal. I don't just use the NIV, okay? I use multiple translations. I use the NET translation. I use the NLT. I use the NIV, ESV, NASB. I use pretty much all translations. But the NIV fits in the middle of that optimal equivalent area like the CSB does, in between the literal and the dynamic, if that's how you want to portray translations. It fits right there in the middle. So if I use a let's say ESV, NASB, King James, New King James for a deep study of getting down and dirty, or I guess you would, or to the nitty gritty, and I use something like the Message or the NLT or the Voice or whatever it is to help me with a more of a readable, dynamic equivalent. Well, the NIV just meets the middle. And not only does it meet the middle, but I also done a video here a while back showing how the New International Version can still be used for a deep study. I remember a friend of mine, Travis, me and him used to talk, and there was a time when I didn't really feel like the NIV was a translation that could be used for a deep study. But then I got the Olive Tree Bible app, and I got the NIV Word Study Bible, and I realized, man, I can still study the Greek and the Hebrew from the NIV. Who would have thunk it that I could study the Greek and the Hebrew with the NIV? Because people make it seem like it is just, you just can't do it. And that's false. You can. So the fourth reason is simple. It's accuracy. It is so accurate. It is a great Bible. And remember, sometimes understanding is much better than literalness. That's number 4. Number 5, I told you these were simple, they're basic, they're short, they're sweet, but they're true. Number 5, support. Although that many people try to give the NIV a bad rep, when it comes down to most of your textual scholars and things like that, and a lot of theological professors and things, they don't have no issue with the NIV. A lot of the NIV issues arose from people that just wanted to arise issues from the NIV. And honestly, it all started from the gender stuff. I like to say that it's gender inaccurate. Some people call it inclusive. Some people call it inaccurate. It just gets old, okay? If it was so inaccurate, then other translations wouldn't be following suit, like CSB, ESV in some places go to gender neutral or accuracy, however you want to portray that. But the truth of the matter is this translation probably has a better supporting cast than any other translation in the world. Not only is it the number one translation sold and used throughout the world, but the scholars that use this translation and swear by it and think it's a great translation, and those that worked on it are amazing. Like I got a few people marked down here that were on the CBT, and the CBT are the ones that help translate the NIV, and they're the ones that meet. They meet every year. They go over it. They check things. They pick out things that they could update or fix or change or whatever. And that is Douglas Moo, Dr. Douglas Moo, Dr. Mark Strauss, Dr. David Brewer, Dr. Craig Blomberg, Dr. Daniel Wallace, and Dr. Bill Mounce. Dr. Bill Mounce is an amazing guy. Sometimes he chimes in the NIV group and the Everything Bibles group. Some of our groups, he chimes in every now and then and gives a perspective, and he doesn't get caught up in the arguments and stuff. Super awesome guy. But man, the list of scholars on the translation committee for the NIV are trustworthy. They're all great men and women of God. We can trust them. We can know that they're doing a good work. And that's the 5 reasons. If I were to give one more reason, if I were to give an honorary mention, it would be that the NIV does not go through a lot of constant little updates and fixes. It was completed in 2011, and it hasn't been touched since 2011. Are they probably working on some places where they can update? Yes, it's 2020. It's been 9 years, almost 10 years. And so, yeah, they're probably working on some areas that could use updating, but we don't know how long that's going to take. But if it's 10 years plus for them to do a minor tweak to the NIV, it's not happening every couple of years like some translations. So it's a solid translation. They got it right the first time when it came out. They didn't have a lot of mistakes. And it's just great. Listen, most translations are great. And they're all something that you can trust. You can trust God's word. And whether it be the ESV or the New King James or the King James or the NASB or the CSB or the NLT or the NRSV or the NET, whatever it is, these are trustworthy translations, you guys. And they're translations that you can grab one, you can use it, you can read it, you can lock into it. It's God's word. He's speaking to you. He's speaking to his church. So whatever translation it is that you love and that you use, I challenge you to grab it, to trust it, to read it, and to hold on to God's word. So anyways, I thank you guys so much for watching my video. I'm trying to do a little bit of new stuff. As you see here, I've got a mic, try to help my audio. I probably will not use a mic during my Bible reviews. Y'all know me, I like to do a raw Bible review, basically uncut. I like to hold it. I like to go through it with you. I don't like to do a lot of cutting and editing, and I don't even lighting. I like to use regular basic lighting. So I don't do a lot of that stuff because I like that stuff to be raw. But I love you guys. I really do. And I appreciate every one of you for the subscribers, so on. Man, you guys are incredible. Like my stuff, share it. I'm going to try to do other stuff in the days to come, even some nutrition stuff, because I'm into the weightlifting and nutrition and health. Not just spiritual health, but I'm into physical health. So look, I love you guys, and you have a wonderful day.